Men have been getting these three things wrong about women for quite some time now.
Ready, get into it?
Now, there's more than just three, really, but these are three big ones that came to the top of my list off of, a lot of the content I make and, the comments I see and so forth from men and just, the societal norms of conversations out there that you hear. And the first one is that all women these days, today, like modern day woman, societal woman, wants to be extremely independent. And I know, you talk about like city girls and things like that, and I want to be a city girl, whatever the case is, and all the narratives that you hear in like a lot of modern day female rap music, right? I know that can portray that imagery, and you see a lot of things, women trying to emulate it on social media, and they're all playing the songs and operating, acting that way. But in reality, that represents a very small percentage of women out there that truly want to be independent for other reasons, right? What I mean by that is, let me say this too, by the way. Even, like city girls, right? Or whatever you want to say. I know they get into their masculine bag when it comes to, getting on those tracks and bringing that energy to talk that ish, right? But even they, at the end of the day, in their relationships, most likely, and I think what I've seen in one of theirs, they value a man that's going to step in and do things in their life and so forth, right? But without getting sidetracked too much, the main point is a lot of women today, the majority, not the small percentage that do actually want to do that, because there are some women out there that do want to be very independent. They enjoy that. That's their lane. But the majority of women out there, they actually become more independent, not out of I want to do this, it's more of a necessity. They feel they must. And why do they feel like they must? Because a lot of the men in their lives, or a lot of asses, right? Modern day men don't show up the way they would like in their life, right? They're not standing into the role of the leader in a relationship to lead it to where she feels confident and comfortable letting him go ahead and take on some of those things so she doesn't have to be overly independent and doing it all on her own. This is crucial to understand, because it's very easy to get caught up and swept up in the social media hype of things, right? To where you feel like, oh, women out here, they just out, I'm a bad me, right? And I'm out here doing all these things, and I don't need no man and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, women want a man in their life to do things for them. They do. Like I said, there are some that maybe do like to do it on their own and so forth, but majority of them want a man to do these things. They just don't feel they can trust him to. So if you feel you want to live at a certain standard and at a certain caliber, you feel like the man or the men that are coming into your life are not either able to or don't want to stand into that role to help you live at that caliber or that standard, what are you going to do? You're going to do it yourself. You're going to start taking on that role on your own. You're going to say, well, shoot, I'm not going to let my life and the results I want and the way I want to live not be able to exist because he's not going to step up and do his part. And what happens is over time, those women get conditioned to start getting used to doing it on their own. So that's how you get a woman that had previous relationships to where the man never stepped in to a certain degree and stepped up and all that stuff. Now, look, I'm always a big advocate for this, right? You get what you put out. You attract what you're in harmony with, right? So the type of person you wind up with, if that was a man or a woman that is not doing the role you want them to do a certain way, it comes back to your selection process. You chose that man or that woman. So there's some responsibility on women for the men they choose that maybe weren't shown up a certain way in their life. But I'm just giving you the understanding as to where their minds get, right? Because when you're in it, you're not thinking of, oh, it was me choosing this man that's not doing his part in my life the way I would like, and it was the last man too that did the same thing. It was me choosing those men that brought this, and that reason why I had this experience, and now I think that I have to be overly independent, right? You don't think that. You're in the middle of it, just looking at what you're experiencing. So I'm giving you the back context as to where their minds get to whenever they maybe leave a relationship and they come and find you, and you come in and say, I want to be that guy for you. I want to step into these things. but they already have so much experience in results from previous relationships that say, "Oh, no, I can't let you do that." And they build a muscle to get used to doing it on their own. They built the habit of being independent, right? Or overly independent, I'll say. I think we all need to be independent to a degree, but they become overly independent in areas that they naturally and more likely would not want to be independent in if they could choose, right? Safely choose. So the more you're able to step in and be the man that you claim you are, because I mean, all of us, we claim, we come in saying we're that guy, we're that champion for them, right? So if you come in and insert yourself to take on some responsibility or take on some things for her in her life to where she doesn't have to, in areas that she probably wouldn't want to if she could have a choice, right? If you do that, you become reliable and consistent, and you keep doing it, and you are a man of your word and do what you say you're going to do. The independent thing is going to start to disintegrate away because she's not going to need to sit in that, and she naturally doesn't want to as a feminine woman. Some of the things that she takes on, independently, are masculine, energetic things, right? That if she had a choice, she probably would choose to not have to. If you would, if you will, right? So the second big misconception or thing that men have been getting wrong about women is that all of them want a committed relationship, right? That's all they want. And if they're having sex with you, it's because they're expecting you're going to be their man and they're going to be your girl and all that stuff, right? Or be your lady. Not true. Where, yes, we are in you know, still in a society to where majority of the women, at the end of the day, long term wise, yeah, they probably do want a committed relationship, right? And they usually want it more sooner than men do sometimes, right? But the big thing is this: they enjoy casual encounters just as much as guys do, right? Now, yes, there are some women that literally that's all they're looking for is the committed relationship, right? But nowadays, more than not, you have women that actually enjoy the casualness of things too, right? And even that woman, she might want a committed relationship at some point, but she might not want it in this season of her life, and you might not even be the guy that she's thinking of for that. I'm pointing this out because so often men get themselves into trouble with women and make it harder for themselves by going into an equation dating wise, and they're not living in their truth. It's almost just short of lying to her, right? Some men actually do lie to her, right? And you lead on like you're here with this intention to date towards a purpose of being in a committed relationship, potentially marriage, all these things. You give the bells and the whistles, and you use certain language, and you're operating in a certain way that's almost relationship like, but you're not actually trying to commit to that woman. And she starts building expectations in her mind, and she starts thinking certain things, and she's like, well, hey, what are we? And then you're kind of backpedaling, right? Because you weren't really ready for a relationship yet, but you didn't want to say that up front because you felt you knew if you told her this, then she's not going to want to talk to you anymore because all women want relationships. So if I tell her I'm just here to have fun, then it's going to get you bad results. And where I'll say this: yes, a lot of the times that might be accurate. That might be what happens. That might be where she's at with it, but it's not a guarantee. And I tell you this: you bring way less drama to your life, and you make things way more fluid for yourself the more you can live in that truth. Yeah, might you lose a couple opportunities with some attractive women to possibly sleep with them at some point? Yeah, you might lose that, right? Because they might be wanting more than just sex, right? That's fair. But you'll definitely wind up landing the plane in a better way, having a better experience whenever you can be upfront with the woman that you're talking to, and she's in agreement with what type time you're on. Now the expectations are set. You can enjoy the experience better. You don't have to be, oh no, around this turn, is she probably thinking this means this or means that, right? Or do I have to keep the rules going so that she keeps dealing with me, right? And look, a man that sits in his power best and is confident in himself, if one woman doesn't agree with where he's at in his season of his life, he's not sweating it. There's gonna be another beautiful woman that will, right? But here's the other piece. You'll start to find more often than not, women will respect the honesty. And even if she is a woman that maybe wants a relationship, she might agree because she still thinks you're really attractive and wants to enjoy you and enjoys your company in general to be casual, just hang out and sleep with you without the title and the commitment. And but what you're doing when you do this though is you give her opportunity to actually, make a decision at some point if she feels like she's getting to a space where she might start catching feelings to decide to stop messing with you, right? Which is fair. We're not here to hurt each other, right? We're here to enjoy each other, right? And be on the same page about what we want, what we're looking for. So don't assume that every woman wants to, put a ring on it to where you have to come in and give a ruse or not be honest and direct about what you're here for, because you might be surprised about the results you actually get and how much easier and more joyful your experience with women becomes given whatever you're looking for in this season of your life. So now, number three, the third thing that men have been getting wrong and had this assumption about and so forth, because it can happen often, is that women like to complain just to complain, like they enjoy it or something. Now, I think it should go without saying. It sounds ridiculous to think that anyone genuinely likes and wants to complain. Like, that's not fun for anyone, right? Now, we know there's some unhealthy people out there that they have this kind of twisted way of feeling like they're bonding when they do. That's why some women, unhealthy women, like to gossip about negative things all the time because they feel like they're bonding in some way, right? But in reality, a woman that complains a lot does so because she feels she must to express herself, to get whatever is going on in here that she's feeling, that she feels you're not catching, out to you. Now, why is this? Well, you got to understand men versus women at a natural base, typically, right? Which means men were very physically and visually wired. That's what our base is, and we have the masculine energy that we're typically based in, and that usually comes from or is all tied to the fact that we naturally are usually given physical attributes. That's usually our strength, is that we are given physical strength and speed, right? Survival things, right? In nature, in the primal of things. Women are not usually given that same speed and strength on the levels that we are. They're usually given intelligence and intellect, right? So because you're not going to be strong and fast in nature, you got to be smart, right? To survive. So with that comes their feminine energy that's about nurturing and bonding. And how do you do that? You talk, you bond through communication, talking, right? Verbalizing things. And so, as a woman, if you feel you are trying to get through to your man, you're not going to do something physical necessarily for that. You're going to lean on your strength, which is your intellect and your voice to speak up and be heard. But the thing is, she only feels she needs to continuously do this to where it becomes complaining if she feels like you're not listening, right? If she doesn't think you are getting it, then she's going to say something, because if she doesn't, she stands to be quieted. I might have said that all wrong, but she stands to be silenced, right? Not have a voice, and now maybe suffer in silence, be unhappy, be miserable because there's things that are happening that she's not happy with. And when we say things, we mean her needs aren't being met, right? Now, yes, there can be unhealthy women out there that want to complain because of just things they want to be spoiled about. That can happen. But majority of women are women that are healthy. And like I've said before on my channel, when I speak about men and women, I'm referencing the healthy ones, the healthy version, the healthy goal. I'm never, trying to just talk about what men or women want or don't want or whatever based off of the toxic ones, because they don't know what they want truly, because they're unhealthy and they're toxic. They're still trying to fill voids. So they're seeking the wrong things anyways, right? But a healthy woman, right? She's going to start to complain if she feels she must, because her needs aren't being met. Needs that are there to be healthy for her to be maybe loved properly, respected properly, feel significant, right? Have some sense of certainty and reassurance for herself. Maybe have uncertainty to feel like there's excitement in her life, right? From you as her partner, as her man, or whatever the case is. Or to feel like she's growing, or like she's being fulfilled. And if you're the man next to her and she feels like there's things that she needs you to help and contribute to those needs. Because look, it's all it's our own job to meet our needs first and foremost, not our partners. But after we learn how to meet our needs, it's our job to educate or go see how our partner can contribute to our needs. And so your job in a relationship to your partner is to figure out how can I contribute to my partner's needs on top of what they're doing for their own needs, right? And so if she feels like there's voids in those areas and you as her partner are not contributing to those and she's not being seen or heard in a certain way, now her relationship experience starts to get impacted and now she gets concerned. And if she feels like he's trying to say things at different times you've never listened, then now she's going to start complaining to make sure she's heard because she's scared that she stands to be unhappy and sad and depressed or whatever in this relationship where she's not getting her needs met, right? So here's the thing. If you want to get better results with women in these areas to where you don't have to believe in these, stereotypes or false narratives, really, at the end of the day, when we're talking about the masses, here's the things you need to do. First, when it comes to what was the I forget what was the first one? Oh, independence, right? When it comes to the woman in your life being independent, like I said to you, show up, be consistent, be a man of your word. Secondly, living your truth, right? Living your truth, be honest, right? You trust me, the results you get night and day. And then thirdly, learn your woman's needs. Learn what she needs. Learn what she requires to feel fulfilled in the relationship. Because look, if you spend most of your time focusing on what she's complaining about, see, here's the thing: women typically they speak towards, the symptoms of the core problem. They'll talk about this moment, that moment, and these little things, scenarios that equate to the overall problem. And as men, we try to laser and focus and attack those things she's talking about, but she's really speaking towards a deeper issue, right? But they speak about it in the symptoms. So you keep focusing on that, you're going to miss it. Look at where her needs are not being met and start helping her meet those and to cure the core wounds and watch your results change. Let's get it.